You will fall in love with me. You will take me away from this place.
Full disclosure, news and commentary number 130. Holy crap, 130, 130, 130. Blinged out Buddha. We're just going to jump into this bad boy. So, tipping point. By the way, 2 new patrons. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you very much. Thank you. 2 new people. Tipping point. We did one last week. We're doing one tomorrow night. Why? Simple. Because we got a guest. Who's our guest? One of the 2 guys in this video.
Alan, I don't know anything you've ever done in your fucking life.
I think he's like a dog catcher now.
Either time you motherfuckers want to see me in person and come up and confront me, I fucking beg you.
Yeah, you know Daddy was about. You're that little fat fucker right there. You what? Yeah, of course you don't. What about you little fat fuck? You got something to say? That's what I thought. That's what I thought. That's what, yeah, you do too. What do I got to do with it? You got plenty to do with it. You got plenty to do with it. Hey, I'm worried about, hey, I'm not a bitch, Mark.
Yeah, you are a bitch.
No, you're a bitch, motherfucker. Yeah. You ain't got shit to say to my face, do you? Yeah, fuck you. What about beating my brains in? You motherfucker. You want to beat my brains in? Come right over here, motherfucker, and beat my brains in.
Tough on that podcast.
I'm tough right here too, you fucking piece of shit. Fuck you.
Buff Bagwell and Ocoee going at it in a big bad way. So we're having Ocoee on to talk about it, how he punked out Buff Bagwell, and Buff Bagwell and the fat guy with him wanted no part of Ocoee. So we're going to get the skinny on that freaking insanity. So we're doing a special tipping point tomorrow night on Tuesday. You're going to want to tune in. I can't wait. It's so crazy. Nuts. Let's look at these shows. I got a lot to say about a lot. So that's why it sounds like I'm rushing. That's why. IWN explosion report from Warner Robins. Attendance was 150. From what I heard, less than 100 of those are paid. I can't imagine how much money was lost. And I know the promoter that we talked to would say, no, it doesn't matter because this, that, and the other, right? That level of production and all of that stuff. But there was nothing about that show that will make those people want to come back. And they're going back October 23rd, 3 weeks from now. I guess 4, really. Like, what are they doing to draw? Like, people got mad about the thing I said about GIPW. Well, I'm going to say it some more because this is Warner Robins as well. Like, folks, what are we doing? IWN? What the fuck are you doing? Like, Shoot Taylor got over huge, so of course they didn't do anything with Shoot Taylor at the end. You have, oh my God. They brought in top flight people on one hand, right? You're flying Dan Masters in from California to do the ring announcing. The fuck? Like, I mean, but then you have Masters, like, doing commentary, which he doesn't want to do and which he doesn't do. What the hell are they doing? You have Chris Nelms on this freaking card? What the hell is going on? Then you have August Atra, who apparently was saying inappropriate stuff. hitting on fans as they were coming in, but not in a joking heel way and in a legitimate trying to get with them way, making people uncomfortable. Bragging about the fact that he's a 12-month veteran. So this guy is fucking, God, green as a frog's dick, is winning the title from Shane Douglas in a match that lasted less than a minute and a half. What the fuck are we doing? They've got the production in place, and Mac Davis and people are worried about how does the lighting look. How does the lighting look? How about what the light is illuminating? And that is, by and large, a bullshit card with shitty people. Not everybody. No, don't get your fucking tights in a twist. But is this a show that people are going to pay to see again and again? The answer is fuck no. It's garbage. It's terrible. Right? I'm glad Brooklyn had a good match. I'm sure Madman Fulton and Logan Creed was great. But that main event is shit. And there's no reason for anyone to come back. They have a video message from Exotic Youth. Cool, Exotic Youth is there. They're great, right? But, come on, man. What are we doing? Is there anybody in their right mind that thinks this is a show that is not just going to get wrung dry by the boys and then eventually end? The promoters seem to think, no, because the sponsor... If you're the sponsor, if you're the money marks for this shit, how can you be happy with this? Less than 100 paid? We have to stop this delusional thing. Fuck, here I go. Right? Championship Wrestling from Atlanta. I watched it. What the hell is going to make me watch that thing regularly? Not that the wrestling wasn't fine and all the rest of it, but it's a series of television-length matches. There's no angles that I give a shit about. There's nothing that was Georgia-specific in a cool way. Am I wrong about any of this? It feels like another show that's just going to run until sponsors go, who gives a shit? Are people really going to watch that on Peachtree TV? When you've got Raw, 3 hours, SmackDown, 2 more, NXT, 2 more, Dynamite and Rampage, 10 hours of free wrestling from AEW and WWE alone. IWN keeps putting itself out there as they're this TV product. Who the fuck do they think they're fooling? That's what Teddy Long's telling people. Oh, we're a TV product, so we're going to keep your matches short. I find out shit, people. Who you fooling? Besides yourselves. I want to hear from people who are on this show. Is this smoke that's being blown up your ass, is it going to your brain? Or do you know better? I hope you know better. This is just some shit where a bunch of people are just going to wring every fucking dollar out of this shit and then leave it dead and on the ground. And it's an old wrestling story, and it happens all the time. Championship Wrestling from Atlanta, how's that shit going to work, man? They can explain to me all day about how, like, oh, it doesn't really matter if we have fans in the audience and we can let them in for free or whatever, because really the money's going to be made here, and we're going to do this, and we're going to sell these things and car shield things, and we're going to sell that. Like, you can't have wrestling run by people that don't like wrestling. And Championship Wrestling from Atlanta, by their own admission, is run and produced by people that don't give a shit about wrestling. Guess what? I can tell. Am I wrong? Please tell me where I'm wrong, somebody. Instead of just getting mad at me, tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where Championship Wrestling from Atlanta is going to be a fucking thing a year from now. Please tell me. Am I happy for the boys and girls that are getting to be on these things and get these gigs? Yes, I am. Am I happy that IWN exists right now? Yes. Does anybody in their right mind think this thing is suddenly going to catch fire? And if so, how? Are you going to throw names at me? Are you going to say, like, oh, Luke Gallows and Bob? Get the fuck. Ugh. Now you all got me in my feelings about this bullshit. Like, It drives me crazy that this level of resources are being wasted. Wasted. What is your viewpoint? What is your viewpoint, IWN? What is your viewpoint, Championship Wrestling from Atlanta? Because from what I saw, I didn't see any fucking Atlanta shit on that. Yes, there were people from the Georgia area, but the thing is booked like dippity-doo dog shit. I don't fucking care. How much wrestling do I watch? I watch a ton of it. I don't want to watch this shit, man. I'm the guy that you got to convince. You got to knock off Impact off of my spot. I'm begging you to, but there's nothing I see or read in these reports that I go like, it's fucking awesome. Larry's report, gwhnewsandnotes.blogspot.com. You need to check it out because we've revamped the website as far as how the content is going, and it's wonderful, right? Larry writes, attendance was 150. It was easy, forgiving crowd that wanted to enjoy the show, which ran opposite the Donald Trump rally 20 miles down the road in Perry with an estimated crowd of 20,000. So is that the excuse? Oh, it's because of the Donald Trump rally. That's why we only drew 150. Well, what was the fucking excuse for that first show that drew 200? Probably with half of those people comped. What's the excuse going to be next month? What's the excuse going to be this Friday? What's the excuse going to be next Saturday when they're also running shows in different places in Dothan, Alabama, and all the rest of the shit? When are the excuses going to stop? Where's this TV product going to be? Oh, it's going to be on this app. Are you, look at me, people who are watching this, who are obviously wrestling people. Are you downloading that app so you can watch IWN? Be honest with yourself, if not to me. Are you going to do it? And if you're not going to do it, then why is some wrestling fan going to do it? Oh, gee, I can watch a shitty, badly booked IWN show, or I can watch Mickey Knuckles against Sadiqa on IWTV, or I can watch Action, or I can watch Southern... I can watch far superior shows on IWTV. And Championship Wrestling from Atlanta or Georgia or whatever the fuck, dude, I want to get hyped for that, man. Because it's like, oh, it's on TV, Peachtree TV, blah, 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 blah. But, I mean, let me know if I'm wrong. Is anybody besides the wrestlers who are on that card going to watch it? Well, as long as, you know, David Marquez likes to say, well, as long as, you know, it gets a rating. How the fuck is it going to get a rating? I would love to be proven wrong about either one of those things. But something tells me I won't be. And when that shit goes away, what's the answer going to be? Is it going to be a series of excuses? Are we going to blame Donald Trump rallies? Are we going to blame, oh, well, because of football? Or it comes down to this. People just don't want to watch your shit. And that goes for WWE stuff, too. People just don't want to watch it. That's why you can give all the excuses in the world, right? And while we're talking about that, like, AEW is who the wrestling world is taking their cues from now, including the WWE. Doesn't mean that WWE doesn't make shit tons of money. Doesn't mean that they do bad work. They don't necessarily do bad work. But, I mean, my God. I mean, who's hot-shotting right now? To me, it looks like it's fucking Raw. No, but if they were hot-shotting, they would have had title changes the last two shows. Oh, they did. Oh, if they were hot-shotting, then they would be opening with a title match that they're supposed to be building towards. Oh, they are. I mean, at what point can't you just go, what's real and what's not real, right? What's real and what's not real. NAWA Ring Champion GCW results from Dalton, Georgia. How'd they do? 100. Teddy Long's Holla Hall of Fame fan experience. Teddy Long, well, good for him getting paid again and again. Doesn't matter if it works. Doesn't matter if it draws. It doesn't matter. It's just, we'll just keep doing these shows. And look at the talent. On the show, Action Mike Jackson, Antonio Garza, Double DQ. Ooh, that's fun. When NAWA Southern Heavyweight Champion Chris Nelms attacked both men. Johnny Swinger beat exotic Cameron Cox in the main event. Southern Heavyweight Championship match between Chris Nelms and Cousin Cletus never got started, as Nelms and Sean Nelson attacked Cletus before the match can start. So Teddy Long made a tag match between the teams of Nelms and Nelson against Cletus versus the Yeti / Reese of Raven's Flock, which was run by Cousin Cletus and Reese. Nelms doesn't care because then he gets to hold on to his title. Yay. Fucking belt mark motherfuckers. APW. Yay, APW. From Royston with attendance of 62. By the way, here are the shows that are running the most frequently right now. It's APW. It's PCW. It's Renegade Championship Wrestling. These are the ones that are running more than once a month right now, folks. Though I think PCW is taking the first show in October off. But nonetheless, my point stands. These are the people running the most. These are the people leading the way. Everybody else is either not running or they run once a month or less. Frequently. It's fascinating, is it not? You know who else is running a lot of shows? Because they have shows coming up at a high school and another one at a big... is Action Wrestling. I'm going to talk about Action Wrestling for a second. You can tell this is more freeform. I'm just going. It's been a long time since I've done this and I want to do it. So let's talk about Action Wrestling. Let me hope this camera is still recording. It is. Yay, America. Action Wrestling. I'm going to posit some questions and then support a possible answer. Doesn't mean it's necessarily how I feel, but allow me to tantalize you, because the discussion about the awards got a lot of attention and a lot of messages, and I've had a lot of discussions. And when I was at IWE, and best believe I'm going to talk about IWE. I'm going to talk about IWE in the commentary section. A lot of people wanted to talk about the awards. Here's the thing. Let me posit this. With the awards this year, never have the incumbents been more vulnerable. Overall. Top to bottom. Steve, that can't be. Right? There must be, because even last week you said that a couple of people were like kind of untouchable in the thing. Yeah, maybe. But all the biggies are up for grabs. And I dare say Action is going to be in the argument in a way that people could not have imagined. Riddle me this, Batman. If Action is the single solitary group where the crowds have gone up and continue to go up, to the point where at one point during COVID, because they were so conscious of COVID, masks and separating people and capping it off at a crowd number that was very, very low, but charging a higher dollar rate and doing 2 shows and just doing whatever they could. But ever since they've lifted that stuff, crowds up and up and up and up. It's always 150 or 200. They're getting crowds like they got when they were working with charities, but they're getting it that are just coming to see Action. Do you hear what I'm saying? And if they draw in the 300-400s for these next 2 events that they have coming up, what does that mean? But let me further argue for this. If their thing is structured for people to watch, and let's say 1,000 people are watching an Action show on IWTV, I'm sure it's a fuck ton more than are watching Southern Honor. I'm just going to say that. Maybe I'm wrong. No, I'm not. Action caters more towards the kind of audience that IWTV has. It goes deathmatch, and then it goes wrestling heavy groups. And Action definitely falls in that second category. Southern Honor has great wrestling too. Southern Honor is not the kind of show that they're going to watch on IWTV in large numbers. It is not. I'm just telling you what I know. And I'm sure Dylan Hales and whoever could back me up on this. So if Action has a reasonable size crowd watching live, and 1,000 people watching from all over on IWTV, when that is a lot of their focus of promotion, then should they not be up for Promoter of the Year? You tell me, wrestling people. You tell me, wrestlers. If you knew 1,000 people or more were going to be watching you when you're being filmed. Like, think about this. IWN, they've got this huge camera crew and this huge level of production costing thousands of dollars, no doubt. But who the fuck is watching it? So it doesn't matter. But if IWTV actually gets views, which I know they do, then does that not matter more? Of course it does. And if you're a wrestler, does that not matter? Of course it does. Promotion of the year. Is it Southern Honor? Is it Southern Fried? What are the promotions? There's momentum. There's something called momentum. And I can't deny it. Action has momentum. And they've done it without being in the auspices of the Georgia Wrestling Group's powers that be. They were not at Hell Freezes Over. They seem to have no interest in necessarily working with other Georgia groups. They are very content at being an island unto themselves, working with who they choose to work with other promotions out of state and with IWTV. And it's time to quit pretending that it hasn't worked. Because it has. And this is me saying it. I'll tell you this. Where's the match of the year coming from? There's a good chance it's coming from PC fucking W. Swamp Rules happened. And I was at IWE the next night. And let me tell you two things that happened. The boys that worked both of those shows praised Swamp Rules about how great it was, how fun it was. Larry's report also reflected that. Congratulations to Matt Hankins. Congratulations to the people over at PCW. It makes me feel proud. It makes me feel happy. But this is not me taking credit for any of it because I had nothing to do with any of it. I didn't even know that Swamp Rules was going to be their big show of the year from here on in. I didn't even know that. So it shows you that, like, Hankins and I talk all the time, but we didn't talk about that directly. But Naja and Nick Halen, was their match 7 not match of the year or should be in contention? Are they not feud of the year? And that's another show where the momentum is going up and up and up and up. Bigger crowds, more energetic crowds, better talent coming in. Booking is not just matchmaking, and it's not even just the stories you tell, it's who you can get it to come in and work for you. And what you do with the people that you have. Who's making the best use out of the people that are there? Are you telling me Matt Hankins is not in that argument? Are you telling me Action is not in that? Of course they are. Southern Fried's in that argument. But again, I'm going to ask this. Which leagues is the momentum moving up? And which leagues is the momentum not moving at all? Either because they're not running shows. I mean, I'll say this. Does it hurt Pro South and Anarchy? Are those people that could be up for Booker of the Year except for the fact that they're not doing fucking shows right now? Yes. I will just be blunt and brutal and honest about that. It hurts Pro South to not be running fucking shows. And it hurts Anarchy to not be running shows when we're coming up to the end of the year and in contention. Because we can argue about it all day and we can talk circles around it, but if you're not fucking running shows in the last 3 months of the year, you're not in fucking contention. And as much as it hurts me to say this, IWE and Viral, yes, if you run a show, 6 shows a year, that's going to hurt you as far as a lot of consideration goes. Because I can say, because I'm there, IWE, the momentum is going up. The matchups are unbelievable. How was Exotic Youth against... I know I said I was going to talk about this in the commentary, but IWE did such a great job. And yes, their house was down slightly, but it's a crowd that's going to come back in force in its entirety. And I'm just going to say it. November 20th, barring some kind of cataclysmic thing as far as COVID goes and dealing with that, they're going to draw well over 300. I'm just calling it out right now. They're moving in the right direction. You know? I guess I'll talk less during the commentary now. But, I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this because it's action, right? But, like, fuck, when you're right, you're right. And I, of all people, get the fuck them all, I'm going to make this thing work in spite of. And Action has done that. So I'm giving them all the credit in the world for that. They deserve to be in consideration. Even if some of the Georgia powers that be think that they don't, that doesn't fucking matter. Because it is what it is. You know? And right now, the ones who are running shows the most frequently are Action, PCW, Renegade Championship Wrestling, and APW. APW's doing their job in Royston, which is developing wrestlers for the future. PCW does that also. Renegade, they're kind of off on the fringes, but can we argue against 440 people watching that show Friday before last? You can't argue with that. You can try to mitigate, you can try to blah, and you can try to do whatever. 440 paid. So before anybody, the usual wrestling pundit people, want to say some shit, 440 paid. Congratulations, Tyler. 440 paid is 440 paid. Now, what's going to keep them out of consideration? This is me being brutally honest, right? So I'm just going to keep fucking talking. You still with me? Of course you are. Because you look at that show, and it's a show that feels of no consequence to anybody outside of it. That some of the guys maybe aren't as good, that there isn't the sense that people are being developed, that it's a show that happens in the ether. Now, they may not care about that, but I'm just telling you that's the kind of thing that hurts you in awards time, but also hurts you as far as perception. I'm just being realistic. What hurts various groups, right? PCW was hurt because the perception that, like, a lot of the talent wasn't very good. But as better and better people come in and continue to get booked well, and then you have guys like Nick Halen and Naja, let me say it again, Nick Halen and Naja, who fucking ripped that shit up. Is Naja not... Remember how fucking pissed I got when this bullshit, stupid fucking notion went out that David Ali is so far ahead of everybody else for Wrestler of the Year? How dumb does that shit seem now? Michael Judas, Joe Black, Chip Day, Najacism. Let me say that again. Michael Judas, Joe Black, Chip Day, Najacism. Yes, Najacism should be in the fucking argument. Nick Halen certainly fucking thinks so. And you want to talk about a guy who deserves his props, it's Nick Halen. I put him over, and of course, in that War Games thing. Or the Monroe Massacre. I think he was the best one in that match. And clearly him and Naja made magic. That's a word that I love to say. And there's places that have magic, and there's places that don't. And I think magic matters. Do you? I'm there to witness magic at IWE. I see Slim J, and I see the frickin' sparkle, and I get to see Slim J against David Ali. I get to see that magic. I get to see the Ugly Ducklings and Exotic Youth make that magic. I get to see Exotic Youth. I get to see Bryce Cannon and Zach Mosley draped with frickin' belts from head to toe, looking like motherfucking plate mail armor. Bop, 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 bop. Armor class of 3 with a shield too. The fuck? Dungeons and Dragons. Right? PCW happened, and the show was great. And it's good. It's good for wrestling. And it's good for those guys. And as important as Hankins' inner circle is, I think he's beginning to understand more and more and more, the longer he does this stuff, that it's not just about your tight inner circle. But it's about the next ring and the next ring. And when you have all of that stuff and the guys are coming to you, where are the shows where the guys are showing up just to be around it? I told you years ago, and I continue to beat that drum. The shows that the guys come to just to be there, just to hang out. I've seen it now in multiple IWE shows where there are wrestling people and wrestlers who just show up to be around it. That applies at AWE as well, does it not? Your match of the year is going to come from places like PCW or AWE or Action. Your match of the year is going to come from places like AWE, PCW, or Action. Now, will Southern Honor take this as a affront and a slight, oh, boo-hoo? There's still time. Where's your match of the year? Is it David Ali against Owen Knight? Maybe. But who's doing the cool shit? Now, Southern Honor, they're doing their big show of the year, right? Still Here 3. And let's be real. They thought that if they put up 2 rings in a cage, they will come. To the point where we're going to have 1,000. But that argument's gone by the wayside. I said I would let it go. I'll let it go. The truth is, for this show that they once declared 1,000, they need to get at least 500 to save face. They need to do what Rumblejack did. But if they don't, I dare say, when they don't, what does that mean? Is it because of a Trump rally that's nearby? The IWN bullshit excuse. Or is it because shit's just not hot? You have to acknowledge reality at some point, right? What's Southern Fried going to do moving forward? We're going to find out in October, but it's vital and it's important, and I'm sure Todd would agree with me, and Manders would probably agree with me as well. They need the new shit. Oh, then again, Todd's officially not their booker anymore, right? What are they going to do moving forward? What are they going to make out of whole cloth? This award thing, it's not that it's the end-all, be-all. This is the mistake that people make. They don't matter. Nigel Sherritt and other people who, man, they don't matter because that's fucking ignorant. Here's why they matter. Not only are they things people can focus on, not only are they a good litmus test of who's doing good work, because again, it's voted on by your peers, but more than that, it provides a focus to the discussion that we should be having. Who's our promo of the year? Is it Huckabee? It might be. Who's feud of the year? I love that people are beginning to make arguments. But the thing is, you got to do the work on the back end. The feud has to be worthy of the discussion, too. It's great to have these awards, right? But they're really just there to focus a discussion and to facilitate thought. And my goal this year is to get everybody out of their freaking locked-in way of thinking. That's why I'm talking about action. Because when you talk about something like promotion of the year, you can't just apply. If you want to apply some kind of, you want some objective standard. Okay, here's what I mean. Okay, people want to imply that there's some kind of objective standard. So promoter of the year is obviously then, if we're just applying an objective standard, it is Mucho Lucha. It's Ricardo. Did anybody else get crowds of 1,000 or more multiple times during the year? Nope. He wins. How comfortable are you with that? Not necessarily, right? So can we agree that there is some subjectivity to this? Because if it's just numbers, Mucha Lucha wins next. He's promoter of the year. And if it's based on crowd size, then they're promotion of the year too. Well, no, Steve, they don't run Okay, so now we have different standards. How frequently do you have to run? Do you have to run at least once a month? Cool. If you're a promotion that runs more than once a month, isn't that better? Oh, you're not comfortable with this discussion. Fuck you, we're going to have it more. Wrestler of the year. Is it the wrestler that's had the most high quality matches? Is it the wrestler that's been involved in more than one promotion and done significant? Rob Rod ran into some trouble when he was doing tag teams, right? Top 10 list, because he's a belt mark. And so if you didn't win a belt, but I mean, look at Factions. Undeniable. All-Star Special. Overkill. Here's, you know how Overkill is making the strongest argument for themselves? The fact that people are responding to them. People are making shirts trying to make fun of Overkill. Tells me Overkill matters more. I'm not saying it should be Overkill. I'm just saying it's noteworthy. Is it not? Is it technical excellence? You know, AWE, like, if they had run more frequently, the hierarchy would be up for it. But I would just say loosely, they didn't run enough shows. But that doesn't mean AWE, if show of the year happens and it's fucking amazing, it could be your show of the year. What's your show of the year? Is it Crossroads? Is it Swamp Rules? Where everything worked except the main event? Is it going to be Still Here 3? I'm sure Action will have a show that they will send to me, or they'll tell me to watch, and I will be able to watch it. Imagine the power of that. I asked Matt Griffin, what's a match from Action that you would want me to watch? And unfortunately, Matt Griffin did a fucking Matt Griffin thing. He was so afraid to offend or somebody or whatever that he sent me a list of 12. So guess how many of them I watched? 0. Folks, if I ask you for something, send me 3 tops. If I say to Tyler Culprit, send me your promo that could be up for promo of the year, and you send me every promo that you did, fuck your mother, I'm not going to watch them. Folks, you have to make some hard decisions around award time. And that is, what's your best pitch? What you going to throw out? What's the argument you're going to make? Because I'll say this for Gary Lamb, and it's one of the things I like about him a lot, is he focuses his argument, right? And I hope that skill is sharp, because this year he's going to have to argue hard for everything. Promoter, promotion, show of the year, wrestler of the year. Southern Honor has dominated for 2 years. I'm calling it out. They ain't dominating this year. Give me the argument for Dylan being Booker of the Year this year, because I don't see it. Harsh. I'm just throwing it out there. Because it looks like they're going to have another title flip in a multi-person match. Instead of a focused, this is the person who should absolutely win and this is the big fight feel. Which is tantamount to good wrestling booking. Basically, the title's going to switch hands on a scramble match. Get the fuck out of here. I don't care if you put it in 2 rings with a cage wrapped around it. Wow, Steve, you're being fucking brutal as shit. I wasn't intending to, but this is what has happened. Announcer of the year. Is it going to be Diana Michelle by default? Or are there other people that you can put up there? I think you could make an argument for a number of people at least contending for that award, except for that fucker at Southern Fried. Don't even try. Don't even try to freaking put him up. Don't do it. Commentators. Brandon, right, Gerard, they won last year. But at some point, people just got to acknowledge that JJ's fucking great. But are there other commentators of note? Start making the case. Wrestler of the Year, I spouted off a bunch. Woman of the Year, I gotta say, Danny Jordan's won the last 2 years, and after seeing her put together that great match at IWE, it's gonna be really hard to shake her out of that tree, man. Because she put together that match, and it was fucking good. And I've seen her personally have 2 great matches right in front of me. But there are other female personalities that should be up for it. Danny's the closest thing to a lock next to Hankins' manager. Hankins' manager, though, at least Logan Chase is making the argument. But where's the great Logan Chase promo? Where's the promo that's going to make me want to watch All-Star Special? I have not seen it. Huckabee's cutting great promos, but the manager is not. That's a problem. So right now, it is obviously Manager of the Year is Hankins, unless somebody can take it from him. There are guys who are interesting, who do interesting promo work, like Talaferro. But Talaferro does not get the one thing that you need to get to be great, which is heat. If you're not fucking talking heat and you're not talking people in the door, then you're not a fucking manager that is top flight A-list. I said it, and I am correct. What about Doc Brock? Tell me about his promo for the Monroe Massacre. Exactly. You can't think of it. Greatness this year is going to be the standard. Greatness has always been the standard on the surface, but the truth is this year, you gotta fight for it. There are no gimmies anymore. Not if I have anything to fucking say about it. Greatness is the standard. Whoever wins that most improved, congratulations, you will have earned it. Whoever wins male performer of the year, congratulations, you will have truly earned it. The days of, oh man, they're doing pretty good stuff, that's a little surprising, is not good enough to win this year. And I'm thrilled. Because when you get that trophy, whoever you are, know that you have earned it. Because it's going to be a dogfight, every one of those awards. A dogfight. And that's the way things ought to be. Commentary. IWE. It was great. I feel like I got to see a different side of Joe Black. Getting to see David Ali and Danny Jordan and Carly Bravo have a great match, and getting to see AC Mack really do his thing. Getting to see Exotic Youth continue to just be the hottest act going. They're really great. And they're living the life. I mean, Zach Mosley coming in hungover at the lunch the next day and hearing the stories of how much those kids tow it up at the bar. I went to go eat with like Skrilla. His girl. Like I didn't. I took them all out and fucked them all up 4 months ago. Like this time I was like, I just want to go eat because I had business to take care of back at the hotel room. That sounded nefarious. Sorry. Like wrestling happens there at IWE. And I will say it, if they ran shows once a month, they would be in contention for a whole lot of things. But as it is, they can still have a show of the year. Most definitely. And I have a feeling this November 20th show is going to be in contention for that. Which is exciting to help out in a small way, a promotion get there. But it really has to do with Tim, because he's a guy who gives a shit about wrestling. He really cares about it. And, you know, I said last year or the year before was about the haves and the have-nots. This year is about those that really give a shit about the show they're doing and are focused on the task at hand, and those that secretly want something else more. And it costs them, because this year it's hard to hide. It's hard to hide. Maybe impossible to hide. Because shit comes out. I have all this. All people know this. But this year, greatness is the standard. And IWE is great. And they want to continue to be great. And there is no resting on laurels happening. It's a show that constantly is in flux, with people who are constantly coming at it from the approach of, how can we do better? What didn't work? Instead of just going, fun show, it was great. Like, there's none of that bullshit of just like, fun show, as a dismissive thing. And the guys are treated incredibly well. And that crowd is incredibly hot. I mean, you'll see pictures from that show of people confronting the heels, mad as shit. It's fun and it's exciting. Pro wrestling is back. Now the question is, whose momentum is going up? Whose momentum is going down? And who are just stop dead? As we see this thing with AEW and WWE continue to go, the problem is people want to put historical narratives on everything. But just know that things are different now than they were 20 years ago. What do I mean? When WCW challenged WWF then for supremacy, the WWF were the baby faces. They were the ones who took the cast-offs and made them into stars through superior booking and becoming edgier to match WCW and then surpass them. Are the WWE baby faces against AEW right now? Be honest with your fucking self. I'm not saying for you individually, Mark-ass Mark. I'm talking about in general. Is the WWE the baby faces this time around? You know the answer as well as I do. No, they're not. And the wrestling world from the indies on up are noticing. And they're taking their cues off of AEW, whether they want to admit it or not. Because here's a statement, and then I'm going to back it up, and then I'm going to hit stop and say this is full disclosure. You ready? AEW is the #1 wrestling company in the world right now. Because WWE is not wrestling, by their own admission. This has been Full Disclosure.